Good evening and welcome to Prime of Midlife. It is Wednesday evening, and I had my daughter out last night to visit and she brought me a fleecy. It's just a cheap one out of Primark, but with a few layers added on underneath, this is going to be pretty good for the colder weather. Maybe make me that I don't need to put on heating for as early as I would have done normally. So yes, this is why I'm pink and fluffy just now, is to show you off my fleece. It's got cuffs, it's got pockets, it's got a hood. We're quite liking this, it's very cosy. So apart from that, the other news in today, or the other news today, is the food inflation price. Or the inflation in the food price. Yeah, that one. So the British Retail Consortium have put out their food inflation rate. And it was 4.4% in July. It's gone up to 5.1% in August. And fresh food has gone up by 10.5%. That's why you're seeing such a rise in costs in your milk, your cheese, things like that. Because it's just costing everyone so much more. And that's not going to stop anytime soon. We've just recently had Goldman Sachs say that they're expecting they're predicting anyway, that the inflation rate in the UK is going to reach 22% next year. And I'm like, oh my God, it just is, I don't know what it is. It's just going to be awful. So I was thinking, well, what do we do? So the first thing to do is, if you have got anything that you can spend just now, spend it on food. Get yourself some shelf-stable items so that you've got that, so that when the food prices go up and inflation goes up, so that in January next year, when everything you're looking at is like, oh my goodness, how can that possibly cost that? You've possibly got some stashed. Anything you can do, especially your things like your pasta, your rice, your bulk foods, get some of them. Get them sorted just now. Get your warm clothing sorted just now. Because come October, when this 80% price cap comes in, it's going to be a sore one for us. And then January it's to go up again. So that's going to make it even worse. But in between times, excuse me, in between times, we have the businesses who they don't have a price cap. So on top of the food inflation prices, they've also got the energy prices. And I mean, some of the small pubs, as I've said before, they were 10,000 a year on electricity and now they're 40,000. That's not sustainable. Now, initially we all think of, oh, that's the pubs, that's the cafes, etc. That's not what we need to be worrying about. What we need to be worrying about is your care homes, your hospitals. The majority of care homes in this country are privately run, which means they're run to make a profit. They're run by business people. Why would business people make a loss? Why would they pay for something, if it's not a good business model, why are they going to do that? And I think that's going to be a big thing in the winter, because there's already reports. I mean, care homes were never that well paid in the first place, but it's now getting that the food, they're having to cut back on food or quality of food because of the prices. They're having to watch with their heating and lighting because of the prices. And there's only so much that a business person is going to take before they're like, this is not viable, I'm shutting it down. Where are those residents going to go? And I mean, I really feel this one because my mum is in a care home. What happens if they can't keep going? Now, obviously, they'll put up the fees. The government will pay a certain percentage of the fees. But already what the government pays is not financially viable for many homes. They make up the money to keep them viable by private residents. A lot of the time what happens is the private residents, they have to sell their home, or they have to use their savings or whatever, and it runs down to a certain amount. I think it's 27,000 just now. Once their capital is down to 27,000, then the government starts paying, and the government starts paying a lower rate. This is not going to be sustainable for these businesses. Children's homes, a lot of them are private. Again, food costs, electricity costs, staff costs. If they're private and it's not sustainable, why would they keep going? So it's not just, I know a lot of the focus just now has been on individuals and how are we going to cope, you know, difference between heating and eating. It's not just us. Hospitals, hospices, as I say, care homes, children's homes, prisons, anything like that where there's a lot of people, they're going to be badly affected. And I don't know if you're like me, but when I first thought about that, when they were first saying, oh well, businesses are not going to make it, I was like, well, I'm fed up of all the cafes round about here being tourist prices. You know, it's, I don't know what, it's like, you know, the UK suddenly become this service country where it's all for tourists, it's all, you know, hotels, cafes, Airbnb, you know, look after the tourists, it's all service industries. And so when the conversation first came up with it, you know, the businesses are going to, their energy costs and their food costs. And I was like, well, you know, maybe it's not sustainable to have tourists over here and that's what we build our industries on. But now I've thought of what else it is. And what else it is, it's not good. There's going to be a whole lot of family members, there's going to be a whole lot of people who are in somewhere where the owners, especially if the owners are hedge funds and things, they're just going to go, it's not viable, so shut it down. And that's going to be a very, very big problem. So there you go. That's my thing that I'm thinking about tonight. It's a bit sort of wibbly wobbly. Not quite a timey-wimey thing, but it's a wibbly wobbly. And I'm just like, you know, whatever you can get now before these prices go up any further, get it now. I am about to go and look and find all my little cash stashes and see how much I've got so I can go shopping again this week. Yes, I don't need to go shopping again, but I want to prep shop again because with this sort of food inflation, with the energy price increase, with the predicted national inflation rate supposed to go up to 22% next year, I want to try and prepare as much as possible so that if it gets really quite bad, I've got some sort of a backup. So I hope you're all well. I hope you're all prepping. And thank you. Oh, yes, before I forget, thank you for all the fabulous ideas last night. They are brilliant. I am going to go and sit. It may take me about a week, but I'm going to sit and go through them and I'm going to put them on the webpage with this is the hints and tips for getting through this. So that we've got a static place so people aren't having to try and find the video on YouTube, find the comments. I'm going to put it all on a page so that it's all in the one place. So thank you so much to everyone who has commented, put hints and tips, you know, and I know there's some of you have put, oh, someone's probably said this. Doesn't matter. Do you know, the more we say it, it took me a long time to twig on the heat the person, not the room. A lot of people had to say that before it actually stuck in my brain. So yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much to everyone who's interacting with this channel. I very much appreciate it. So I hope you have a good night. I'm going to go and get this uploaded and sit in my fleecy because it's cosy. Catch you later.